We are creating this scenario. You can only watch one. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul or Floyd Mayweather versus Iron Mike Tyson. Which would you choose? So complex. I'm throwing it to you. They're both having an exhibition, as you know. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis. There's rumors that they're going to be wearing 12-ounce gloves. Jake said he's willing to go down to 10. I don't know if that's been confirmed. It's an exhibition, which is not going on their records. As you know, Jake Paul was over 200 pounds and Gervonta Davis is 135. So whatever they're going to do, that's that. There's Iron Mike Tyson, who lost to Jake Paul in an official bout in his last fight at heavyweight. That is on his record. And now he's fighting Floyd Money Mayweather, who fought at 154, but never really fought above that weight professionally. Right. And now we're going to see that. There's some bad blood between them because of things that Mike Tyson said, like a true champion isn't afraid of the people, can leave his house without bodyguards, and he took that shot at Floyd in the past. So with all that being said, if you could only watch one, which exhibition would you choose?
I mean, I kind of don't want to watch either, but I'll tell you which one I want to watch even less than the other one. And the one I want to watch even less than out of the two is Floyd versus Tyson. I mean, it's just a shame that you got older guys in the sport who are doing things like this for money. I feel like Tyson does have money because he can license a lot of things with his name. I know he's got like a marijuana line and some other stuff going on, and he has his podcast and he does appearances, movies, so he should be okay. But there is no actual benefit to this at all in my mind. Yes, you can say, two of the all-time greats, but it's like you got an older. We saw in his last fight, he lost to Jake Paul, which was really unfortunate to you. I don't know if that was an official fight or not. I hope not.
It was.
That was an official fight.
BoxRec right now. Keep going. I'll go to BoxRec.
That's terrible. If it was, that's horrendous. That it would go on his record, and I'm sure he got paid out, cashed out for that. But at the end of the day, these are guys completely different sizes. I mean, Tyson might have a legitimate 100 pounds on Floyd, right? So it's not even close to competitive. It's not meant to be, and it's gonna be just like them playing around in the ring. Floyd, I think, has too much respect for him. Floyd can't, and I don't think Floyd is gonna try to knock him out, or can, even if he wanted to, because Floyd's hands are brittle. They're not gonna really try to go that hard. It's just gonna be Floyd dancing around, moving around moving around the ring, and then Tyson just kind of staring at him or plodding towards him, and then whatever, they'll have a few funny exchanges or something, and then they're gonna clap it up at the end.
Do you see that?
Wow, crazy. So Kevin McBride, yeah, that's a terrible. Those losses, yeah. Danny Williams, Kevin McBride, and Jake Paul, like awful, crazy.
I remember he got to go out on a dub.
I know that Clifford Etienne fight. I remember that. That was a good fight. He knocked him out really quickly.
But do you see this too? I didn't know this.
14-ounce gloves. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about here? The reason why I think Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be the more interesting fight is because I feel like they're trying to angle Jake Paul towards a world title fight, and I think they're going to use this as a way to he beat a world champion, right, or whatever, right? I mean, and there's a lot more wrinkles to that fight that are interesting. I mean, there's always a trained little guy can beat a untrained big guy, right? Tank is way more trained than Jake Paul by far, right? He's boxed way longer and boxed at a higher level. So you would think that he should be able to beat Jake Paul up, because that's always what people say, right? Like a small guy can beat up a big guy. But I'm curious to see if Tank with his small stature.
Who said that, a smaller guy?
Yeah. I wonder if Tank's 135 pounds. He's 5'2" or something. I don't know, right? He's really even at let's say his walk around weight is 150 or 155, right? Which probably is really high for him, I'm assuming, right? I don't think he cuts down 20, 30 pounds every fight. But let's say he's as high as 155, 160, right?
He's been higher back when he was hanging with Adrian Broner.
Let's not do that. Yeah, let's not do that, right? Let's stay away from that. But let's say his walk around weight. The question is, could Tank beat up a guy in the street? And that's why I was like, this fight is not a really good situation for Tank, because if he doesn't knock out Jake Paul, it's gonna look bad almost. It's you're a world champion, or you're gonna give Jake Paul's gonna get the only way Tank wins is if he knocks him out. Because if he just outboxes him, it's going to be like, damn, you didn't knock him out. This guy doesn't even know how to fight, and you so guys on the street are going to think I can take him. Then you know what I mean? I got a chance or whatever, right? You're going to say like these lower weight fighters aren't that tough, right? They can't do anything. If he loses, if he gets hurt, it's going to look even worse because it's like, oh, this untrained YouTuber took a couple years to take a few boxing classes, and now he's giving you world champion Tank the business. So there's a lot more actual wrinkles and stakes in that fight. So I'm actually interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah. And once again, we disagree, and organically. So I like this. For me, Complex, I just can't see how Gervonta Davis, I mean, not Gervonta Davis, but Jake Paul would ever get credit for beating someone like Gervonta Tank Davis. No other fighter his size would get credit for beating Gervonta Tank Davis. But this just goes to show you how much Jake Paul is allowed to get away with. He was able to fight like in the beginning, old retired MMA fighters, Nate Robertson, and nobody says anything. Then he says he wants to be taken seriously as a boxer. He fights Tommy Fury. He loses to Tommy Fury, although that was a close fight. And Tommy Fury considers himself a real boxer, although, let's be real. So he pulled out a fight with Darren Till, so that tells you everything you need.
Has Tommy Fury even fought like?
I think he's on paternity leave right now. Tommy Fury, he's on paternity leave. But the point is, right? Jake Paul gets to do these antics and people watch, but him fighting Gervonta Tank Davis really, and then people saying the pressure's on Gervonta Tank Davis, to me, not in my eyes. In my eyes, it doesn't matter how good Gervonta Tank Davis is. He's still 135 pounds. So can he cause more damage than the average person, 135 pounds? Yes. But saying an untrained or a trained little guy beats an untrained big man, that's only to a certain extent. At some point, your physicality is going to give you an advantage.
Size matters.
Yeah, I learned that playing basketball. Like when you went to college with me, you saw like some of them giants that were there. And I played basketball regularly. Whenever I played against them, sometimes they just get the advantage because of their height. You can't teach height. And where even if I jump and I jump really high, but they don't have to jump as high to get their hand over mine and go like this. Like, I got to give everything I got to try to contest the shot, and they just do a little jump, and they're over my hand and go like that. There's nothing you can do.
But question, would you expect a shorter NBA player, like who's like an Isaiah Thomas, right? So you mean to tell me if an Isaiah Thomas faced one of these guys that you faced? Now, Isaiah Thomas obviously hasn't been in the league for some time, but let's say at his height, right? He was one of the best guys in the NBA. Not the best, but like he was like in the top 20 at some point, right? Him facing one-on-one with these guys, you think he would lose? Would we be like, well, this guy was bigger than him?
Yes,
like,
he would lose. This is what I'm saying. I'm not even trying to say that like I'm NBA caliber, but he'd have a hard time because I'm 250 pounds and I'm taller than him and I'm stronger than him. So if you get him on the hip and you're near the basket, it's just reaching and going like this. That's what I'm saying. He's more skilled, he's more talented, he's quicker, faster, more everything. That doesn't matter. What matters is like if you get positioned on someone who's smaller, you got the weight advantage, whatever. That's why it was hard for him to stay in the NBA. That's why people didn't want to give him the contract that his stats showed he deserved, was because at the end of the day, you're small and you lose a little bit of quickness, you're not going to be in the league for long. And after he got hurt, his career was basically over once he lost a little bit of explosiveness. And like what I'm saying to you is, you can only overcome so much. Mm-hmm. Like mass moves mass. And like, for example, if you and I were on the line, right? Lineman, say you were on offense, I was on defense. Like I could use my quickness. I may get by you sometimes. But if we ever went like if you ever stop me from getting by you and we're head on, and now it's me trying to push you and you like trying to control me, it's going to be a lot hard for me to move you just because your size. You have that. Like, that's you standing 2 toes down. It's just going to be a lot harder for me. And it'll be easier for you to push me back if I go at you head on. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And for Javante Tank Davis, the weight he's given up, the size, like I can't see him. He has the quickness. He's faster. So if he goes in there and he goes in the pocket and he pieces them up and he avoids all the punches, then we might see that can happen. But if Jake hits him, if Jake can land on him, he can do some serious damage to Javante Davis. Although they're wearing 12-ounce gloves, so the damage would be somewhat reduced. But he's still a bigger person. Like
But did you see that there was an interview with Devin Haney a little while back again? This guy Bradley Martin, who's like a bodybuilder, and they were like, "Oh, who would win in a fight, you and me?" And Devin Haney was like, "If we were fighting like bare knuckle or no gloves or just a street fight, he's like, I'd probably kill you, right?" And Bradley Martin was like, "No, but I'm 260. I'm like way bigger than you." And he was like, "Bro, I fight every day. I would kill you. Like this is what I do." And a lot of people sided with Devin Haney. They were like, "Yeah, just because you're 260, you think like
I
you're
sided
gonna
with
win."
Devin Haney.
Right, and I probably would too, right? Now, I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting concept because I think it depends on how much do you rate Jake Paul. Is Jake Paul a world level boxer? Is he a regional level boxer? What is he? He's a guy works out, a guy who works out and hits the pads and trains and spars and he fights competitively, right? Has he fought against, you know, live opponent? Maybe not, but he's as close as we can get to the average guy, right? To an average guy on the street. And the question has always been, especially with these lower weight class fighters, is like, these guys, yes, they're fighting lower weight classes, but to the average guy, they would beat you up, right? If they ever got their hands on you. I remember one time Roger Mayweather, I think, told a story where he knocked out like a trainer of his or something. He was like 112 pounds, he said, and he knocked out a guy who was like 220 pounds, something crazy. He told a crazy story in one of those 24/7 series. So take it with you, whatever.
I knocked him out.
Right.
Me.
Take it whatever. But I don't put it past them. I think guys, especially the whole idea of boxing, right, is that these guys are trained fighters who do this every day, right? Like it's like this perfect example. What's his name? The White Mamba.
Brian Scalabrine.
Brian Scalabrine. People were talking shit to him like, you're terrible.
Yeah,
He's like, all right, come face me. He's like, I'm closer to LeBron than you are
to me.
There's levels to this, right? And as a boxing fan, I expect to see levels to this. I expect to see that Tank, especially a guy with knockout power, that if he catches you with the right punch, he should knock you out. So I want to see, can he knock out Jake, right? If he can catch him with the right hook, the right punch, the right, lead him into something, or hit him in the liver, hit him something where it's going to drop. I expect that much. If he doesn't do that, I'll be highly disappointed because I feel like, well, you're supposed to be Brian Scalabrine to us at the very least, right? You're really closer to LeBron in the sense of the boxing world, but you're supposed to be at least a Brian Scalabrine where you should wash this dude. You should absolutely wash him. Yes, he's bigger than you. Yes, whatever. But at the end of the day, this shouldn't even be a close fight. You should show your class as a fighter that this guy shouldn't be in the ring with you.
It's different, man. Like Brian Scalabrine is, I don't know, like 6'9", 6'10". Maybe, he's big, he's strong, he plays in the post. So that's what I'm saying to you. If Brian Scalabrine got me in the post, you said Isaiah Thomas, right? Isaiah Thomas, if I get him in the post, I'll be able to do something to him. That's a major if, because if he gets me on the wing, I have no chance, right? But that's the point of like cross matchups. You don't want a big guarding a point guard. You don't really want that. Brian Scalabrine, if he's guarding Isaiah Thomas on the wing, he's cooked. But if Brian Scalabrine gets Isaiah Thomas in the post, he's done. If Brian Scalabrine gets me in the post with his height and his weight advantage, I'm going to be in trouble because he's already up here. Now I have to jump extremely high. So I have to time it perfectly jump as high as I can, and even then, if he gets a little higher, he gets his shot off, and that's the problem. So it's like Kevin Durant. That's why it's so hard to guard Kevin Durant, is because he has guard-like skills and he's close to 7 feet tall. So he gets his shot off at a high, he gets high in the air where it's damn near impossible to block. So you got to be like Giannis, and the only reason Giannis can probably block it is because he's just as physically gifted as Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
So, like, my point in the difference with Gervonta Tank Davis is he's the smaller guy with the skill in the sport of boxing. And people talk about weight classes all the time. Like, oh, we were just talking about it. He moved up all these weight classes. You're talking about him walking in there with a huge weight disadvantage. It could be anywhere from 60 to 50 some pounds. He's going to have a weight disadvantage. Maybe less if he comes in bigger. Maybe it'd be around 35, 40. Who knows? But the point is, he's not the bigger guy. He's the more skilled guy. But he's given up in height, reach, those things. So he has to win in the categories he's supposed to win in, like stamina, quickness, defense, like
skills.
Yeah. He has to make sure that Jake can't hit him clean. And as long as Jake can't hit him clean, I think in the later rounds he should be able to pepper Jake up and make the ref stop it. I don't think he's going to hit hard enough, maybe. But Jake has not been knocked out, and he's been in the ring with other guys like Anderson Silva, and these other fighters, and he hasn't been.
I mean, at 40 plus years old, like.
But you know what? Maybe the speed will catch him with something he doesn't see. I don't know, but here's my thing. For me, a win for Tank doesn't mean he has to knock him out because of the size disadvantage. Just to wrap it all up and summarize, I think the weight disadvantage may be too much for him to overcome in terms of getting a knockout. But I do think that he needs to pepper him up. He needs to, make him look bad. And as long as he makes him look bad in terms of making him miss, not letting him touch, and I think that's a win. I think he may be a little too small to knock out Jake, is what I'm getting at. Just physically, it may be asking too much for you to knock out someone who weighs 40, 30 pounds more. Like, look at Usyk, Tyson Fury. If they weigh the same, in the ninth round of their first fight, Fury would have been gone. Gone.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't even been a fight. But Fury's physical advantages are what made it difficult for Usyk to even, that's what I'm saying. There's certain guys, like, if they're physically gifted, it's going to be a problem even if you have more skill than them, because they're just naturally physically gifted. Like,
yeah. I mean, well, let's see. This is how I expect the fight to go, though. We mentioned the Great White Hype earlier, right? In that fight, they had their dude, the Great White Hype, training and looking like a world killer and all this stuff. And the champion, what's his face, was just eating pudding and getting fat and laying around. He wasn't in training at all. And they get to the fight. The bell rings, ding, ding, ding. They have a couple exchanges, and Damon Wayne's character, the champion, wipes out the dude who's a Great
James
White Hype.
the Grim Reaper Roper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was because he caught him with a clean one. He said, "Oh, you're really trying to embarrass me out here."
Exactly.
But speaking
that's
of
how
which,
I expect. I want Tank to just eat and get fat, and come in there and wash Jake Paul. That's
what was the guy's like Terry Conlon or something like that? Irishman Terry Conlon.
Yeah.
That's what Dana White's gonna try to create to have a superstar.
It's gonna be a two of those guys.
But to get to the point and to wrap it up, I'm more interested in Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson. One, I want to see how Mike Tyson looks, because that's going to tell me a lot in terms of the rumors that Jake Paul fights are scripted. Jake Paul, I said rumors again. I don't know. So that the rumors that his fights are scripted, and the rumors that you're not allowed to knock out Jake Paul. So there are those rumors going around. I don't know how true it is, but if Mike Tyson looks better against Floyd and he looks like he's actually trying to land bombs on Floyd, and then to me it's going to be like, oh, why does he look better fighting Floyd than he did Jake Paul? Floyd's smaller. This is like a little bit later, and I'm going to start to be like, you know what? Maybe there were limits to what he could do against Jake Paul in the ring, and he's really going after Floyd Money Mayweather. Likewise, if Tank goes in there and he's too cautious and it doesn't look like Tank is trying to pull the trigger on Jake, and it looks like he's slowing down or carrying Jake through the fight, I'm going to start to be like, you know what? It doesn't look like these fighters are allowed to knock out Jake or to hurt Jake in these fights. And so, you may not stage a fight, but you do put in a stipulation like, no knockouts or something like that. Although Jake did knock out some of his opponents, and I don't know how that went, but I'm talking about with Mike Tyson and Gervonta Tank Davis. So to me, to wrap it up, I at least have faith that Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson is going to be on the up and up, a real exhibition, like they really trying to hit each other. So if that's the case, then I'd rather see that than potentially Gervonta Tank Davis selling his soul so he can get retirement money.
He's like, when he's chilling on Cancun in his yacht, he's not gonna matter about whatever. He's gonna be like,
I'm not mad at him. Hey, he either way, right? He was gonna hold Turkey's hand, or he was gonna get it. Whatever. He's
gonna do something. He's gonna get that money
his way.
Tank, don't let us down, bro. You gotta do this one. You gotta do it for us, the team. You gotta knock him out. Like, because it's gonna look crazy, bro. If you got a Tank who's considered a killer, world champion, whatever, going the distance with Jake Paul, it's like gonna give Jake Paul so much hype and energy. It's like,
but it shouldn't, because he's so much smaller than him. Like, to those who know, it's like, yo, bro, like, you really shouldn't take pride in that. Like, you shouldn't take pride in the fact that you
if a random dude on the street, I don't care, he could be 260 pounds. If he knocked out Tank, he's gonna be like, I knocked Tank the fuck out. That's all he's gonna say.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna be like, well, dude, you weigh 260, you whatever. They'd be like, I knocked Tank out.
But here's the thing: there's weighing 260, and then there's like there's 260, but you're an athlete. You train, right. You lift. Like we talk about mass moving mass, right? Like Tank, an impressive bench press for Tank would be like 165. If Tank could even bench press 200 pounds, that would be impressive. And then you got a guy who's 200 pounds. For a guy 200 pounds to have an impressive bench press, he got to push at least 225. And even then, that's just for people to be like, okay, you got some decent strength. You got to go above that. So I feel like, there's just natural things you could expect. Like asking Tank to knock out Gervonta, it goes beyond
Or Jake, you mean?
Huh?
Asking Tank to knock out Jake?
Yeah, asking Tank to knock out Jake. It's like asking him to do something that is extremely difficult. Not because of his skill set. He has the skill if they were the same size, but Jake should be able to take a lot of punches from Gervonta Tank Davis. Should I say, right? It's not even like he's fighting someone who's 175. It's not like he's even fighting a light heavyweight. He's Jake's going to be cruiserweight. I think they say he got to be under 200 pounds is the only stipulation.
The night of the fight, or he weighs in under.
I think the weigh-in. I'm not sure he can fight a weigh-in, but
if there's a rehydration clause or not, he can blow up to 220 or whatever.
That's my point. If he comes in the ring, over 200 pounds, then it's crazy to ask Tank to knock him out. If Tank knocks him out, he deserves credit for that. So to me, Tank knocking out a big dude, you get credit. But Jake Paul knocking out a little dude, he doesn't deserve no credit for that. That's lame. You picked on the little dude. Why don't you knock out a real boxer in your weight class? To me, that's how I feel about it. But maybe there are people out there who give him credit, but I wouldn't give him credit for it. I think it's lame. You wanted credibility so bad. You wanted to feel like a champion so bad. You picked on. Remember, we were just talking about Benavidez moving down to fight Bud Crawford at
Right.
168, right? You wanted validation of beating a real boxer so bad. You went down to 135.
He didn't even go down. He's making him come up.
That's my point. You went down to 135 to pick on someone. You didn't even go down to 135. You went down to 135 to pick on someone to fight. Like, you just, come on, man. I can't. But yeah, anyway, I'd rather watch Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson because at least they're two real fighters. That's how I feel.
All right.
Well, thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Listen, to help with engagement and getting the channel out there, hit the like button. You can leave a comment. Let us know what fight you'd rather watch. And if you watched the last video where we talked about Dana White and UFC, I know it's a long video, but it's a lot of good topics in between. And we really break down the new boxing league from Dana White. Let us know if you think his boxing league will be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, peace.
All right. Peace, y'all.